test, mic check, 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? Oh my god, what a day. What a day. You have no idea. You have no idea. But I'll wait to start talking until I know you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Test, test. Comment, something, say something. Ah! The wait.
I hear you.
Yes! Okay. Oh, man. Okay, so I literally got up here at like 1:45. I'm setting things up. I'm shipping Kelsey's order. I'm doing the thing. And then I get a text message from Kiddo, Mom, we're in lockdown. And I'm like, oh my god, what do you mean? And then I'm like, okay, do I still go live? Because sometimes these things end up being nothing. But then I'm like, no, just something's telling me to look a little bit deeper. And so I start looking at it. We're part of a Facebook group, and they share all this information. I swear this woman just listens to scanners all day, and I'm so thankful that she does, because she was keeping us all posted. And then Kaden called me, and so then I'm on the phone just listening to what's going on, and oh my god, my son plays too much Call of Duty. Because he's over here like, Mom, there's a cop with an M4 and there's this and that. I'm like, oh my god, dude, like, how many lists are you getting us on with your Google searches? But anyway, everything is fine. I don't even know how much of a threat there was. We're still waiting to hear any official statement from the school, which we all know is complete crap anyway. Sounds like there was someone, it could have been an airsoft, GUN, could have been other things, but all is safe. All is back to normal. People are picking up their kids. My kid has practice still, so it's crazy. But thank you guys for being patient. At least we're still going to go live, get this part recorded. This one should be a short segment, because once I get us past here and past this first and about, a little ways into the second row, I'm going to leave you guys with your homework. I just don't want to torture you guys through...
Must have been so scary.
Kind of.
I'm just glad everyone is okay.
Me too. Melissa, dude, this is like, you never know how to act as a parent. You're like, oh my god, what am I supposed to do now? Like, am I supposed to freak out? Am I supposed to go there? No, because that's just going to convolute everything. Do I wait for information? Do I try to find my own? You just go down a rabbit hole. You go down a rabbit hole. So, but anyway, this row is, or when we get to this section, it's 5 rows of single crochet. I am not going to torture you guys with 5 rows of single crochet. So we will get you through how to sew this together, how to do your 5 rows, and then even if it's a shorter class today, we'll just go ahead and pause right there. That'll be your homework. And then next week, we'll come around, we'll fold it over, sew it around your lanyard that we'll make together, and then we'll do the pom-poms. So if you have pom-pom makers, or if you've been thinking about ordering them, this might be your good opportunity to do that. Let me turn that off, because I guarantee you people are going to start calling me now that everything's getting back to communication land. So, pom-pom makers, if you haven't ordered any, you may want to consider it. In my link tree, I have a whole shop of things that I buy when I buy them. I usually shop for the best deal for my buck. So, if you guys want to check out what I got, it's in the link section under crochet supplies. So, a lot of things that you can do, but you can make them on your own. You can use your fingers and you can just tie them together. There's a lot of ways to do it. But if you guys can invest, it's only like $6 or something like that for the set of 5, and you get 5 different sizes. I recommend it. It's just so much easier to make pom-poms that you're like, oh my god, these are so cute. So definitely, it's worth a few extra cookies, if you know what I mean. Alright, cool. So now that I've gone on my little soapbox for that, and I'm getting all sorts of notifications, holy nightmare, it's gonna be an afternoon. Let's go ahead and get started. So you guys are in the 3rd of 4 sections for this particular project. I don't always do series, but it's becoming a trend with our bigger projects. We are doing the hooded cowl, so this is the Crisscross double crochet hooded cowl. Pattern is available on Etsy. There you go, there's my little plug. Another one, right? We've done the cowl section. This was week 1, so you could just stop there and you could have yourself a really cute cowl. But if you want to keep going, then week 2 took you into the hood. So we did the same stitch, but we split. We did a few increases here just to bring it in a little bit, and you should have something now that looks like this. Okay? So now what we're going to do, and just to remind you, we should be on a 6mm hook. We're using regular worsted weight yarn. The yarn I've been using for this one is none other than our big twist. I'm reaching the end of the skein. See, 2 of these skeins will get you through one of these, so it's about 600 yards. It's about 600 yards for this project, probably a little bit less. All right, so let's start prepping to sew. Well, we're not going to sew. We're going to stitch. So you should be still connected. Hey there, Donna. You should still be connected to your last stitch right here. And as you can see, I mark my first and my last stitch of every row, just like so. And 1, that'll help you line things up right now. But 2, that was just to make sure that I didn't pull a dum-dum and drop a stitch and mess up my edges. So that's how I don't count, because you guys know I hate counting. I hate counting. I think every crocheter hates counting. Alright, so you've done your last single crochet. We don't need to do a second row because we've ended our 4-row repeat, and now we're going to sew it together. We're going to chain 1. I'm going to treat this as a row, and we're going to turn, and we're going to put these together. Now, if you really wanted to double check, maybe you had like a boo-boo on a side or something like that, you're going to want to make sure that your right side is facing in. What is the right side? If you're not familiar with that, it's a sewing term technically, but it's whatever pretty side you like more. You want that facing the inside. I don't really have a preference. I feel like both sides look pretty synonymous. But if you have a side that like just totally looks like boo-boo, make sure it's on the outside right now, because once you sew it, we're going to flip it inside out. Okay? You're going to flip it inside out. So double check your project, and then when you're ready and you've got your pretty side on the inside, we're going to line up your first and last stitch, and we're going to start stitching this together. What's up, Shayna? And Donna, I hate counting. I hate counting. I think nothing proves I don't know how to count more than crochet. Alright, so we've got our stitch markers like so. This is our first and last stitch. I'm going to go into the first stitch. So it's really nice when you have that kind of guiding you, because you can just boop, and there you're good. We're going to slip stitch all the way across, but we want to bring these 2 panels together. So again, this hook is just going to go right into our final stitch. Again, this is all folded in half, such as so. So we're going to be stitching it together at the top. That's going to form our hood. And now a slip stitch, you're just going to yarn over and you're pulling through all the loops on the hook. Boom. We can take these off now. We don't need them. And in fact, we're done with them for, oh, no, I'll keep them for the other project, or the other rows, just to build good habits. Just to build good habits. Okay, so we're going to keep doing that all the way across. There's the first panel, both loops of the second panel, and pull through all the loops on the hook. Pull through all loops on the hook. This is a slip stitch, one of the many ways you can join any panels. That also includes granny squares. If you're doing cardigans and you need to sew, maybe you don't want to whip stitch, maybe you despise whip stitching, this is a great alternative. The only reason you may not like this alternative is, you will see, it will create like a little row, if you will. Now when you flip it, it's going to look like this. So for us, it looks consistent with our 4-row repeat, because it's going to create almost like that seam right there. It's going to create another one right here. But if you were doing this technique on another project and you didn't want that additional bulk, or you didn't like the way maybe it looked maybe it made one side a little bit and you didn't like that, there's a lot of other ways you can join panels that may be better for you. So for this one, we're doing it this way, but just saying, like, this technique may not be for every project, since I do try to encourage you guys to like go rogue and start creating your own things. I just like to explain the whys behind using certain stitches versus other ones. And there's also a really good one, if you needed something to join together like very evenly, you can like insert hook, and you're like slip stitching back and forth. It does add a border in between, but it looks really, really good, and it looks it's like a flatter way to do it, where you don't leave this bulky extra row on one side or the other. A lot of different ways, but this is the way that we're going to use it on this project. It's just to slip stitch until you run out of stitches. Oh
Which
man.
is a really good explanation.
I really hope it was, because like sometimes I over-explain everything. But you're analytical though, Shayna. So you and I are like, we get it. We don't want to just know. We want to know why. This is also why I annoy people. Doesn't matter why, Jen. It just is the way it is. But not to me. Not to me. I need to know why. Is anyone else the same? Like, I was even that way when I would get a job, and I swear my managers were like, ugh, just because that's the standard operating protocol. I'm like, I don't care. I want to know why it's the standard operating protocol. Is that such a bad thing?
Definitely always need to know why.
Why is that so frowned upon? It shouldn't be. We do not reward that kind of behavior. And it's very disappointing. I feel like it makes me smarter to know why. Alright, we're getting almost to the end. And then we'll set up our brim. Alright, when you get to the end, we are going to leave a... We don't need to leave a long tail because you're just going to sew it in. So you're going to get to the end, do one more chain just so you can pull it through. It does not need to be crazy long. And since this one is going to get easily forgotten, I'm going to weave it in now. And the only reason... Hold on. I'm blocking my mic. Hold on. Okay. And the only reason I don't wait on this one, I usually weave in all my ends at the end, but this one, when we flip it inside out, it's going to get pulled into the inside corner of the hood, and we're likely to forget it's there, because it's not super long, and it's like all the way tucked under, and I don't want to forget, and then be like, oh, I thought I had a finished project, and then the dreaded ends are still haunting me. Yeah, no, so just go ahead and weave this one in right now. I'm going to tie one more knot, just by going through there. And before I pull it tight, I go through the loop again. That will create one more knot. Make sure that it's all tied off. And then, if you guys have never woven in ends before, you want to aim for the stitches. You want to try to hide everything. Let me pull this in camera. You want to try to hide everything under the other existing stitches so you don't create any additional loops that no one, that the pattern wasn't intended to have. And that's what will make it look like there's never a seam there. Now I'm going to go back and forth in a small vicinity because this is an apparel item. It's going to get stretched a lot, and if I try to pull it all the way through this way and just keep going until I cut it, as this stretches, it's going to pull it back out, and then you're going to have like this little yarn that starts sticking out right here, and no one likes that. It looks like it's unfinished, and then your only choice is to cut it. Now you feel like it's getting shorter and shorter, and then you're like, oh my god, like my project's gonna come undone. You guys spend a lot of time on your crochet projects. Do not risk it coming undone, and definitely don't risk you not enjoying it because you didn't go the extra mile to weave in your ends. Charlie. Which, by the way, did I see you come through and you have your new name? Did you change it? I think I saw you come through. So I go back and forth a couple times. It locks it in. It's probably excessive. I've seen people weave in ends and they do a lot less than what I do. That's okay. If you guys want to be like me and be a paranoid stitcher, let yourself be a paranoid stitcher. If you don't want to be like me and you're like, I got this, I know what I can do, YOLO, by all means. By all means. Alright, so we have that one woven in. Now we're going to flip this inside out. First I'm going to put my yarn needle away so I don't lose it. Okay, we're going to flip this inside out, exactly how you hear it. That way, let's go ahead and take a look at that seam so you can see. There's that nice seam. When you block it, this will lay flat. And my method of blocking is I usually use my iron, and I just do a high steam setting, and I'll float the iron over the project. I don't directly touch it.
My ends are in habitation right now.
In habitation. So there's that seam.
You can't tell me what to do, LMAO.
Nice and pretty. You see how it's pretty close to these seams, so it'll keep that nice and consistent. Okay, but now we want to do this section that's going to frame our face. So let's see. When I pull up the pattern, let me use the pattern so you guys can see how, let's see. We've done that, we've done that. You will now be working in the corners of both patterns. We've got the pictures. So this is a terrible printing job, but the pictures are there. This pattern is available, so again, feel free to check it out. Single crochet in each stitch. No, hold on. Turn the cowl so that the opening is facing you, working on a standing single crochet on the first left single crochet where the two panels start to split. Okay, what does that mean? Well, we're going to get some yarn. You're going to hold that cut section again and do your slip knot. So I go around, down the back, and pull it through.
This migraine is insane.
Oh, you have a migraine, Melissa? Why? What causes yours? So I'm looking for the split, which comes down to here. One, I'm trying to pull this apart so you guys can really see it. This stitch is going into this right here, and this way is going into this. So I'm going to start here and do a standing single crochet. So what that means is I'm just holding this and I'm single crocheting as if I've been doing the row the whole time. Insert your hook. Don't let this turn. You don't want to let it turn around like that, so just use your index finger to hold it there and just work a single crochet. Pull up one, pull up two. It's that simple. It's a standing single crochet. Don't pull that super tight yet. When you finish coming back around and stitching into it, you'll see why, but that is our first stitch. So we can go ahead and mark it. And who was that? Who said hi? Mrs. Diamond. How are you? Alright, so we've marked that stitch. Now I'm going to be crocheting around here, but you'll notice we don't have stitches to go into. So what you want to do is for every single crochet row, you want to try to do one single crochet. For every double, we're going to do two. Two. Single, single. So that means right here we're going to do one single crochet on the side of that row. Here is a double. So one and two.
Good.
Here's another double. One and two. And here's a row of singles. So I just want to do one on the side of that one. Here's another row of singles. One
I missed my cooking
goes
buddies.
on that one. I know, Mrs. Dutman, dude, they put my son's school in lockdown. So I of course wanted to make sure that like poo wasn't hitting the fan.
No, this is the first time I have.
So unfortunately I had to go on an hour late. I did let everyone know in the cord. So if you guys are not in the cord of disses, the link is pinned in the chat. I do try to keep everyone posted on all the things that are happening here at Genetics. But yeah, that was trippy. So we're at another row of doubles. So two single crochets go here. Two go here. What's nice too is if you guys were changing colors, because I know several of us have done this, changing colors, this is a good chance for you to crochet over those color changes. Because when you get to this section, you can't crochet the color change through. You have to cut and redo it. Yeah, everything was okay. I don't think I officially know what all happened yet, but they a caller had come in and said called 911 stating that someone had called 911 saying that there was someone with a GUN on the campus. So it was on the neighboring campus, so they put both schools under lockdown. It was crazy. Alright, so here we go with single and one single and then two. Two. And we're going to keep doing this all the way around. Don't worry, I will not torture you guys with all 5 rows, but I do want to get you all the way through this so nobody has any issues with their quote-unquote homework. I'm going to actually go here. I don't like how that created a hole, so I'm going to back up. This is where you can adjust where you're stitching into. Oh, that's a spammer. Alright. There we go. I'm going to go into there. When you go into big holes, especially with the border, it can kind of stretch it. And since I've already got to do it in these big, I want to go into a tighter space. I hear how this all sounds. for these other stitches. But just to explain why I went back and changed that, that is the why. I like to try to make sure that everything looks all dialed in. I don't want it looking all nasty.
Oh man. We have that issue here too. The whole district will go on lockdown if there is anything on one of the campuses.
I mean, I'm grateful for it, right? And this was one rare moment where it actually was potentially like a threat. I know they got somebody, they questioned somebody. I'm guessing the threat was not what they thought it was. But that person's going to have some explaining to do because they have literally thrown everyone's day into turmoil. Oh, there was a lot of responses. So 2 in each of those because those were double crochet rows. Here's our single, but I'm going to go up a little bit just to close that gap. Here's another single. And double, double, single, single. So still keep working the same number. Why do I care about the number of stitches? I am trying, again, just explaining the whys. I'm trying to make sure this doesn't warp. Because if I put too many stitches, you're going to see this start warping and like curling, and it just won't be consistent. You want everything consistent so your project looks polished and beautiful when it, something that you're proud of when it's done. So let's keep going, but that's just
Yes, it's a blessing they do that.
why we do all those
It can
things.
be very nerve-wracking because Minion will tell me first before the district sends out an email.
I still haven't gotten an email. I still have not gotten notified by the school, and like the coast is clear already. It's crazy. The schools are the worst at I get it. They're scared if they notify too much, people panic, and let's be real, there's always people that panic and ruin it for everybody. So I get it, but it's also aggravating at the same time because we're left to our own demise to like play private investigator and figure it all out. So it's not like they're really preventing much. Oh my gosh, just so you know, I've been doing the wrong hook this whole time. I grabbed the wrong one when we started going back through. Do I want to change it? Probably not. Okay. It's cool. It's a 5.5. It's not that far off. Alright, when you get to this section, here's where our seam was. So we're at the center point. We've done our single crochet. Technically, we have a row over here of single crochet. I want you to add one more single crochet to account for our seam, just to make sure you don't accidentally cinch this in and create like a dimple or anything. So we would normally go over here. We're going to do one extra one right in here. And then resume with one more single. So this is the only spot where you have 1, 2, 3 singles, and then we're going back into the 2.
I'm not saying anything right away because it will cause parents to come to the building to get kids but can't.
Yeah, that always happens. So 2 go here. Wait. 2 go here. I almost skipped that spot. And then 2 go here. And yeah, well, funnier thing, Mrs. Tubman, is the elementary school, their pickup time was like 30 minutes after this all went down. And because they didn't notify parents to like of anything, a lot of people were showing up just to pick up their kids not knowing what's going on. So for them to not want the parents to be there, that kind of ruins it when you don't tell them to stay away. Luckily, the high school didn't get their pickup times a whole hour later, so they at least controlled that one a little bit better. 1, 2, 2.
To be fair, we don't get an explanation email till well after the school day.
Yeah.
We will get the notification they are on lockdown and when it gets lifted.
Yeah, I'll get something later tonight, but definitely have still gotten nothing. 1, 2, 1, and 2. Here's another row of singles, so 1, 1, back to 2, 2, 2. We're almost to the other side. But yeah, craziness, just craziness. I will say the response time was pretty quick. And they had drones in the air within within like 5 minutes. Dude, I didn't know what to do either. I'm like at the house and I'm like, do I drive? Do I get close? I'm like, he's got practice. Do I leave him there? Like, I'm like, I'm not even going to get close to the school, so there's probably no point in me even leaving. Definitely ain't anything I'm going to be able to do.
But they may wait till the investigation is done.
True. True, true, true. And then you're on the phone with your kid and you're like, oh my god, what do I say? I've got to keep him calm just in case. And it was just, it was interesting. It was interesting. I'm like, do I tell him what I'm hearing? Probably not. Because you need them thinking clearly. Alright, so we just did our last set of 2. We have a single crochet here, because this is our row of single crochets. And then we're going to do one more single crochet into the loop, or into the stitch that's actually below it. So here's our final single crochet here on the side, our final side single crochet, and then one more going into the bottom. Perfect. That is going to be marked as our final single crochet for the row.
What was the lockdown for?
They had, yeah, dude, they had, someone was spotted.
As a freshman in high school, the senior class pulled a senior prank with chickens that closed the school down.
Okay, well, that's kind of funny. That one's kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. Grace,
Yeah. Minion 1 always asks me if I know why they are on lockdown.
And we never know. They probably know more than we do. There was a guy that was spotted with a GUN at the neighboring school. So there's an elementary school right next to the high school. So both of them were put on. It was just crazy. It was crazy. They did question a guy. Sorry, I'm talking and not. They did question a guy, but I don't know how serious the threat was. It sounded serious at first, I will tell you that. Alright, we did that last single crochet. You're going to chain 1 and turn. And this is where it gets easy. This is where it gets super easy, because now we're just going to do single crochets. And you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more rows. So that'll be a total of 5 rows of single crochet. But you'll notice we are not joining down here. We're keeping these stitch markers separate. We're going to go back and forth. So boop, 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 boop. Okay? I mark the stitches so I never accidentally add a row. So we chained 1 and we turn. We want to crochet into that first stitch. You don't want to accidentally skip it. So that's why I mark it. I'm stupefying my life. Put 1 single crochet there. I'm going to mark it again. And you're going to keep going. Just single crochet all the way across. This is going to create a flap that we are going to later.
I'm not good in serious conversation. I always try to lighten the mood.
Oh, I'm usually that person too. Trust me. I respect the cynical remarks. Trust me. This is going to come out. It is going to create a little bit of a lip. That's okay. Because what's going to happen once we do our lanyard going around, we're going to fold that over and we're going to sew it. And that's what's going to allow us to have the lanyard where you can pull the hood tight and you can like stretch it out and loosen it back up. So you're just going to keep doing single crochets. But yeah, you're all good, Melissa, trust me. It was, oh man, it was crazy. And then it doesn't help that I grew up in a firefighter household. So whenever there's like high stress environments, we are the cynical ones because like you were never allowed to like freak out. My dad was the firefighter, and so it was always like you were always collected, calm, and you just did what you had to do and you moved on. It was just, so when it comes to high stressful situations, I don't handle them the same way others do either. And I am usually that person that's like, oh Jen, like have some sympathy. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Alright. Easy enough. I'll get you guys to the end of this row and show you, just so you don't second question yourself. But this is how we're going to do the brim on this. And if you guys are joining and you want to catch up on this project, this is the 3rd of the 4th segment. But the other two are already recorded and they are available for replay. So if you head to the Get Hooked playlist, you can catch up on this project. All of my classes become free tutorials after the fact. So you have a lot of fun projects you can make. Just go to that section of my channel and you will see a ton. Okay, maybe not truly a metric ton or anything, but you know, you get the drift. But we do weekly live classes. Right now I'm doing them every Tuesday and every Thursday. Hopefully life will allow me to keep going at that frequency. Because we've been learning a lot of cool stitches on Tuesdays. I like doing a different stitch on Tuesdays. Because I've been finding a ton of things.
The jasmine stitch on your other tutorial.
Did you get it okay? Are you making a headband too? I freaking love that one for a headband. If you guys, let's see, jasmine stitch. I'll show you what that looks like real quick. If you haven't seen it. This is one of the other tutorials. But jasmine stitch, it looks like a flower. It is a thicker stitch. Great for headbands. But I have a tutorial on this that allows you to do really good headbands. That's a good go-to one for a headband for almost any kind of yarn too.
Yes. I got it okay.
Good.
At first.
Just because there's a lot of loops. Once you get used to all the loops, it's not so intimidating. Just go slow. Just go slow at first, and then you start flying through it, and you're like, oh, okay, that's great. Okay, I have yarn that's in the way. Give me a second. Get rid of that little sucker. Ah! Okay, well, it just decided to fly. So now it's down there getting untangled. Or getting tangled, I should say.
Is the jasmine stitch some kind of form of puff stitch?
Kind of. It's a lot of yarn overs. But you end up with like 15 loops or 17 loops or something like that on your hook, and then you have to yarn over and pull through all of them. So until you get used to that, it can feel overwhelming. But once you get it, you fly through it. You fly through it. And it's a really good texture. You can make headbands with it. You can make a lot of things with it, but it's not good for draping. So if you want something like light and drapey, not the stitch I would recommend. But for headbands, for purses, for pillows, pillow covers, good. All good ones for that. Alright, so we just stitched in our final one. I know that because we have our stitch marker there. Chaining one, and again, you're turning. You're treating this as a row. Just because it's shaped in a U doesn't mean it's not a row. So that is our end. We're going back the opposite direction. This is my third row of single crochets. So perfect. Like I said, this is going to be a quick class. I'm just going to leave you with this part. I'm not going to torture you. It's single crochet. Get it until you have 5 total rows. And then you can fasten off. You can leave in a normal tail. You do not need to leave a long one. And then come back next week.
Great medicine for migraines.
Is it? Melissa, I'm so sorry that I'm going to have to leave you though. I might be able to have time to do a quick TikTok live. I think I can go live on TikTok for, oh wait, because I don't have to leave for 4:45. Yeah, we can do a quick TikTok live. So I'm going to take a quick break. You guys work on your homework and get those 5 rows done. We'll go pop over to the other platform. So this becomes the tutorial, and we will join next week. And again, next week we're going to do the lanyard. I'll show you guys. So what we've got to do with next week is we're going to take that brim, we're going to sew it over, just like so. We're going to do the lanyard. This is what pulls through and stretches out. And then we're going to work on the pom-poms. So this is the crisscross, double crochet, hooded, there we go, hooded cowl. Perfect. So do your homework, subscribe, hit your notifications. We will finish this project next Thursday. If you guys want to catch up and join, the previous 2 classes as well as this one are going to be in the Get Hooked playlist. And then Tuesday, we're going to together learn another stitch using a diagram. But I don't have one picked out yet, so if you guys see something that you want to learn, let me know. Send me the diagram. Go on Pinterest. Find stuff. Let's see what we can learn together. Alright? I'm going to take a quick break, and then we're going to jump over to TikTok. If you guys don't follow me there, same thing, Genetics Creations. The links are all in my bio. And then we will see you back next Tuesday. Perfect. Okay, so we got the next section recorded. We're good to go. We also need to pick our project for after this. We don't have a big project for after this. We'll talk on TikTok. Alright, guys. Thank you guys for being understanding with me being late today. Hopefully life will stop lifing. I will see you next week.